It doesn't mean that you need to be caught up in miserable, like in a miserable life or a miserable job. If you hate going to work every day, I would say 99% of the people who wake up and hate going to work every day haven't even tried to get another job. They're just stuck. They're stuck because they refuse to do more, or maybe pursue more schooling to get a better job, or you just get stuck in this rut. It's like you're in a dead sprint and then boom, you hit quicksand and you can't ever get out, but you're not sinking because you're not moving. But you're just standing there miserable, just waiting for that day to come when you're just going to sink down below. But you can get out of that quicksand. There's a way for you to get out of that quicksand and start running again and run whichever direction you want and live however you want to live. That shit you do good. Oh yeah. Drink that Fireball, baby. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about a few things here today. But you know what? Let's give the countdown, baby. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is Shot 30 Podcast, and I am Shayne Neubert. And as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And thank you for listening. Man, you know, we had a little break from the podcast. We got it all back hot and heated with Austin Ingalls. He popped in, and then Sarah Tysinger came in right after that. If you haven't seen those episodes, make sure you go check them out. But, you know, I don't really know. I want to talk about quite a few things on this solo episode today. And one thing that I've been thinking about a lot, too, is, like, what motivates me? Like, what gets me going? And kind of like, what are the other things that motivate people around me? You know, there was a night the other day, I was laying there, it was like 2 a.m., and I put on a Tony Robbins motivational speech. And god damn, does that guy have a voice on him, huh? Yeah, he's got an intimidating voice. But what he does is he hits your little heartstrings, man. He makes you think. I think a lot of those motivational like speeches have the same kind of effect as like tarot cards and stuff. You know, where maybe it doesn't match exactly what you're looking for, but it brings light to areas that you want to focus on. So, you know, like when you hear something motivational, you read a motivational quote or something, it's not necessarily that 100% relates to you, but it might motivate you or make you think about an area in your life that you want to do better. You want to be better. And we all have those. I mean, it's very easy to say, like, I want to be better with my time, or I want to make more time for my friends or my family, or I want to start a hobby. Yeah. Think about your life and all the things that you do, and or the things that make you happy and make you sad, and that's where you should start your basis, because you don't want to take away things from your life that make you happy. What you want to do is you want to take away things from your life that, you know, bring you down, upset you. You spend too much time thinking about. Those are the type of things that have a negative feedback on your life. And then there's the other side of things. There's the negative and then there's the positive. The positives are the things that you should focus on. And maybe you do a great job at cooking breakfast for your family every day. Maybe you do a great job at making sure the house is clean and all those things. well, maybe you can taper back a little bit of that time and focus it more on an area that you're struggling, or just get rid of the areas that you're struggling. A lot of people are afraid to do that, whether it be a relationship or whether it be a hobby. If you do something like, let's say you do stand-up comedy and you don't love stand-up comedy anymore, well, then that's probably the best time to quit doing stand-up comedy. Because it's supposed to be something for you. And if it becomes something that isn't for you, well, then that's where you're going to struggle with it. You're going to think about it way too much. You're going to be more upset when you don't do well than you would have been before because you still enjoyed it. But if you're feeling sad and not enjoying stand-up and then you're still forcing yourself to do it, well, those feelings can be awful, and they can haunt you deep down, and they can haunt you for a long time and in a lot of different ways. When we force ourselves to do things, when you force yourself to do something, it's never going to be the product that it would be if it came fluently and naturally. You know, I enjoy, there's things that I do that I enjoy. You know, I love doing the podcast. I love talking to all of you. I love getting your feedback or hearing that my friends laughed when I said something stupid or this or that. But there's also been times where the podcast has been overwhelming. So I've taken a break, step away. I know that in those moments that I'm not ready to quit doing the podcast. It just means that I need to spend a little bit more time working on, up top, and that brings a lot of, there's a lot going on in our world where it's one side or the other. But our personal lives don't have to be one side or the other. You don't have to be, we're complicated creatures. Like every single person is so complicated in their own special ways. And we don't need to overcomplicate things. We're already complicated enough. I recognize sometimes when my friends are sad or when they're happy or they're confused or sometimes, hurt. Or maybe I did something to upset them. I can recognize, I can see it on them when I know that something's wrong. And I think we don't spend enough time paying attention to people. We spend more time paying attention to what upsets us. In a lot of circumstances, we stay in this area where are we getting our motivation from? Because if you turn into this negative person where you're bringing other people down or shitting on someone's beliefs one way or another, and trust me, I know there's two sides to everything, but when you believe strongly about something, we should all be people who want to hear both sides. And it's okay to have a difference of opinion. But it doesn't make you a worse person. What makes you a worse person is not hearing or not understanding the other side. And I guess I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm clearly feeling some things. I know I've been staying up late a lot, kind of having some bad dreams again, but I think a lot of it's based around me really, really wanting to just get back into my groove where stand up and the podcast and school stuff and home life and, all this stuff, I want them all to mesh again. Like, cause it was going perfect. We were in this really smooth spell, but I mean, I've been getting shows for comedy. I've got a list full of guests for the podcast. I don't know. It's just sometimes when you have downtime, a weekend or a night, or you're laying, you just sometimes just want to clear your mind and all the way reset and relax. And that's where like this motivational music and speeches, I've been listening to that a lot. I've been trying to tell myself, like a lot of things I'm doing, like I'll start the day off by just boom, get this done. And be like, look at how successful you've already made today. And those are great feelings, but also I still feel kind of drained. And like, I know I'm forced myself to be down here. It's like 4:40 and I'm down here recording a solo podcast when all I want to do is eat my hungry hobo fucking bread bowl that's upstairs. And did you know I don't know if you guys are going to believe me or not, but did you know how they make the hole in the bread bowls at Hungry Hobo? I just found this out today. I thought that they had always like just cut a hole in it and then pulled out the top. No, there's a guy in the back fucking the bread. There's a guy in the back literally just putting his fucking soup can dick right into that bread. Talk about a yeast infection, huh? Yeah. But Shot 30 Podcast, as always, is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, YouTube, all those things. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, leave a comment down below. No one ever leaves comments on our YouTube videos. And that makes our YouTube videos suck, which makes me suck. And yeah, but yeah, so we'll go back into a little bit more of what motivates you, what brings you joy and hope. A lot of people, like, it's kind of a cliche word or like a word that people take as silly, but what gives you hope in life? Because there's a lot of people out there that struggle with not having that form of hope. They think that their lives are depressed or they're so sad and miserable. They don't have much money in their bank accounts, or they've got water stains on their roof, and you know, like they don't have cable TV. Like, things are going wrong. And they lose that sense of hope. And hope is important. Hope is important for us to build and grow and be better. Something to dream and chase. You know, it gives you goals. It gives you an idea of what you want to be. We forget about what we want to be, and we act more. We mistaken what we want to be. I guess there's a few ways to think about that. We mistaken what we want to be sometimes with being complacent or fake. There's a couple different ways to look at it. You, like, some people, I want to have the nicest house on the block. And maybe that's what brings you joy. Maybe having the nicest garden is what brings you joy. But what makes you want to be better tomorrow? What makes you want to do more tomorrow? And that's when we'll waste years and years just thinking about what we are when we already know what we are. It's deep down inside of us. The answer to who you want to be and what you want to be is already inside of you. It's just you haven't been acting on those motions. You know, we go through the motions of things, but you haven't been acting on those motions and emotions to make you a better person or to make you live your dream or at least chase your dream. It's impossible for all of us to live our dream. It's impossible. But what's not impossible is all of us trying. Because if we all just try, there's so many chances we don't take in life. You know, like that silly Michael Jordan quote, like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, you know, like blah, blah, blah. But no, it actually is pretty true, because there's so many opportunities that we have in our lives that we miss because we just don't act on them. Like, man, maybe you wanted to jump out of that plane and, well, like with a parachute thing and a skydiver guy. Or maybe you wanted to try the beat-ups challenge. I guess what I would want to challenge everybody to do is do something new, do something exciting. You know, what I love is when you see somebody go, no, I don't want to do that. But you see it in their face. Like, let's talk about the beat-up challenge. You see somebody like, you should do the beat-up challenge. They're like, nah, I don't want to do that. And you're like, come on. And you can see it in their face. Like, but they want to say yes. They want to. But maybe it's their fear, or maybe it's them, you know, just keeping in this shell. They don't want to break out of this shell, even though inside they want to see what that experience is like. They want their asshole to burn right off their body. We're not made to be these bland cubicle specimen that just live by the book and by the rule every single day. No, we're supposed to break the rules. I'm not a very religious person. I'm not a religious person. I said not very. But you know, like the whole story of Adam and Eve and like temptation, that's what we're supposed to do. Maybe people have read this Bible and thought, wow, like Eve really fucked us over by eating that apple. But no, that's what we're meant to do. That's what we're meant to be. We're supposed to be curious and adventurous and wild and want to experience life, because what even is life? I don't have the answer to that, and I don't believe that you do either. But the one thing that I can say that I do is I do take a lot of chances, and I do find myself always trying new stuff. I feel like I'm adventurous. I'm at least, I would say, exciting. I'm not anything close to a perfect human being. But man, I really want to experience life. I want to experience things mentally and emotionally and sexually and physically. Everything. I want to know. Like, I want to know what it feels like to. I don't know, to eat the world's hottest pepper, or to, go surfing. I don't know. Like, I want to know what these adventures are like, though, because we watch all these other people, and that's where we get mistaken. We see somebody do something that we think sounds cool, but we don't need to be that person. We can create our own adventure. We're all living our own adventures as is. My life isn't the same as your life. Your life isn't the same as his life or her life. I mean, I know our bulges aren't the same size as Ross's behind me, because that shit is massive. That's a big dick. That's a big dick. And then maybe there's some of you out there that are thinking, I want to fuck that mannequin. Well, fuck that mannequin. I mean, not my mannequin. All you weird squirters and stuff out there. I just think we get so caught up. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but you get so complacent. Like you're in this relationship, you and your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, anything, you're in this relationship and you're miserable. And all you want to do is you just want to be free, and you want to go out and experience things and adventure. But what are you doing to make this miserable relationship better or to get out? We're so afraid. We're so afraid financially to make changes. We're so afraid of routine. We're so afraid of things, and like, I get it. Like, you and someone got married and you have kids, and you want to, you're going to fight through this miserable relationship because you have kids together. But how is your kids ever going to be happy if you're not happy? And kids see that, and they know that, and they feel that. How are you ever going to be happy if you if you keep yourself in restraints? And I'm not saying everybody needs to be running around butt naked being crazy all the time. No, but it doesn't mean that you need to be caught up in miserable, like in a miserable life or a miserable job. If you hate going to work every day, I would say 99% of the people who wake up and hate going to work every day haven't even tried to get another job. They're just stuck. They're stuck because they refuse to do more, or maybe pursue more schooling to get a better job, or you just get stuck in this rut. It's like you're in a dead sprint, and then boom, you hit quicksand, and you can't ever get out, but you're not sinking because you're not moving. But you're just standing there miserable, just waiting for that day to come when you're just going to sink down below. But you can get out of that quicksand. There's a way for you to get out of that quicksand and start running again, and run whichever direction you want and live however you want to live. And it doesn't mean like you're not sacrificing. You shouldn't sacrifice your happiness for a marriage or kids or a job. Imagine you being at a job where you love going to this job and you're happy every day. How much better of a job are you going to do at that job? You're going to be incredible. You're going to be the best employee there. You're going to be the most passionate, caring, motivated. Let's say you want to be, let's say, an actor, and you're working at a news station, and you're watching, or at an acting station, whatever, and you're watching these actors perform. You love it so much. But what if this next guy who walks in, he wants to be a fisherman, and all he's working the same job as you. He hates this job because all he wants to do is be on the water and catching fish. We can all be great at things or have passions, and they be different. Just some people that I know have loved working at Menards or love working at a gas station. And you can see that on their face when you walk in and they're smiling and they're happy. And we get caught up and bogged down with what makes us happy that sometimes we forget. Or we don't put ourselves first, and we need to put ourselves first, because you being happy in your relationship, or being a mother or a father or an employee, this can flourish and this can uplift other people. And if you find this life where everything that you're doing makes you happy, the other people around you are going to be so affected by that. And I just think that we need to do that more often. We need to uplift each other and push people towards their goals, or their ideas, or their bravery, like whatever they want to try. It shouldn't be, if you meet some grouchy old man on the street and he asks you, hey, should I try stand-up comedy? And, well, he already answered that question for himself, because it means he wants to try stand-up comedy. And even if he goes up there and sucks, he was brave enough to try something that he thought about doing. Of course, what? Did I ever think that I wanted to do burlesque? No. But I went to Mary's burlesque size class, and I had a blast. And I thought it was cool to try it. And honestly, now, I may do burlesque. Who knows? But that was experiencing something that I had a question about in my mind, because I thought about it. I was like, hey, this might actually be fun. But if we say no, if we become no people, then how do you grow? How do you grow? All we do is get older and regress. Why would we want to get older and regress? Don't you want to grow older and spread your wings and have these new ideas and freedoms of life? It sounds amazing to me. It sounds amazing to me of people living fulfilled lives, rather than dying miserably and in a way where I don't want to die thinking that I wish I did this or wish I did that. What I want to do is I want to live. I want to live and have fun and make people laugh and experience things that I never thought I'd be able to experience. And yes, I have a very widespread mind. I do a lot of things, but a lot of things interest me. The other day I said I wanted to be in a play. Like, what the fuck? Why do I want to be in a play? I don't know. I don't know why. When I'm singing in the car, I think to myself, maybe I could have been the greatest singer with this voice. And then I'll be like, I hurt myself today. And I was like, nah, dude, it's just because you suck at this. But it doesn't mean that it's from a lack of effort. It doesn't mean that it's people that we've all come across those people in our lives that say, they're so afraid to sing, or I've never heard her sing or him sing. And then just out of nowhere, maybe you hear him singing in the shower, or maybe you hear them singing to a song, and you hear how good they are, and you're blown away. You're blown away by the fear of someone to let their voice be heard. And that's where the problem is. We live and die by the blade of fear. We really do. You're afraid to ask someone out. You're afraid to break up with someone. You're afraid to get on the roller coaster. You're afraid to chase your dreams. You're afraid to change jobs. You're afraid to go back to school. Quit living and dying by the blade of fear. You grab the blade and control your own destiny. Control what you do. Control what you love. Yes, failure will happen. Failure always happens. It's bound and determined. Failure is a fucking asshole. But it doesn't mean that you can find massive amounts of fulfillment in failure. You can be uplifted in a million different ways from failure. Failure can make you want to be better at something, or it can convince you that I don't like this. I don't like the way this failure feels. I don't like the way, I didn't realize this side of this. Whether it being stand up or something like that, you don't realize the form of failure that you get until you bomb. Like I've ate shit doing stand up multiple times. But I don't ever think that it's really made me go, I want to quit. It makes me embarrassed. It makes me want to do better. It makes me question, why did I leave these people without laughs? They came here to get laughter, and I couldn't provide them with that. And I think that that's what motivates me, is wanting to do better. I want to do better for other people too. I honestly invest so much in all of these people, all of you, because I truly believe in you. And I don't know if I've ever, maybe a few times, but most of the time when I meet a person, I believe them. I believe in them. I believe in their successes. When someone tells me something that they dream about or motivates them or something that they love, I relish in that. And mustard. But I've got friends like Adam Peters. Like Adam Peters, he's doing a campaign and stuff, and he talked to me before about how when he did he did someone else's presidential campaign, but I can't remember the guy right now. He had the mittens on, older guy. And now he's doing campaigning and stuff again. And I knew, like, when he talked about, his eyes light up. When we had Ken Versluis on the podcast, he said one thing, and I watched his eyes. He was talking about winning his first barbecue tournament. And I could see it on his face that that's what makes him happy and whole. There wasn't any, yeah, he has failures. Yeah, he threw away 20 racks of ribs because they weren't perfect. But that's because he loves his art craft and loves what he does. If you're an artist and you're okay with putting out like art that you think sucks, if you think your stuff sucks or you don't think it was up to your standard, well, maybe you don't really love doing it. If you're okay with telling bad jokes, and I mean, maybe you don't love doing it, or maybe you love stand up for a different reason, and that's okay too. Life is just wild. It's all about taking chances. And I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take a chance on liver disease right now. But yeah, I don't know. And I think that the easiest way to fix maybe lack of motivation or lack of inspiration is looking at yourself in the mirror. I said this to a friend the other day. I said, look at yourself in the mirror, and the answers are already there. Because how we can lie to ourselves. We can lie to ourselves and convince ourselves that something isn't true or is true. We can do that. But look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Stare into the mirror and ask yourself the questions that you need to ask. What makes me happy? What makes me sad? What makes me miserable? What is dragging me back in life? And maybe the answers you can already answer yourself. You know, maybe it's that simple of just being honest to yourself. We lie to ourselves for so long, saying that, yes, I'm happy, or yes, this is the life I want. But it might not be true. It might not be true. It may just be you putting up a shield. We put up shields all the time. And, you know, like in a time like now, so Pride Month's going on. Now, imagine these people who were something that they knew that they were. At a young age, they knew that they were gay, at whatever age. But these people that kept themselves in the closet, that term, it really kind of drives me crazy. Kept in the closet. But they knew what they were. They were just afraid to admit it. And there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm not saying that, but that fear can hold us back from living. instead of telling lies to yourself and to other people for years, we should all just be free. We should be free to speak the way we want to speak and feel the way we want to feel. And I'm not saying that this is classified down to one group of people. This is all of us. Look around. There's so many sides to things. And I hate how much hate that we bring towards feelings. How much we resent people for saying an opinion that isn't the same as ours. Yes, I understand, like, maybe people need to think deeper about what they're saying, but like I said earlier, listen to the other side. Listen to the other side. Learn and understand. You know, the greatest way to take down an opponent is to know the other opponent. And maybe they have weaknesses. They have flaws just like you and me. We all have flaws. And we don't need to win a battle. Like, we act like everything's a battle in this world. And it's not. It's not everything is a battle. We don't have to make it to be that way. Sometimes the most powerful thing that we have is our voice and being unique. And the day we lose that is the day, it's the day I don't want to be here. If I don't want to be someone's cookie cutter example, I don't want to live a life that is predetermined by other people. I don't want to be in this little shell of because if I was what people have told me that I've been throughout my life, then I would suck. I've had people tell me that I suck, that they hate me, that I'm a liar, that I'm a cheater, I'm a bad person. All I do is care about myself. I'm selfish. I've had people tell me these things, and I know that they're not true. I know that they're not true. Yes, I'm not always been the best guy in the world. Yes, I've done things wrong, and I've done things I regret. But those aren't what those aren't the values of myself that I love and appreciate. The values of myself that I love and appreciate are the fact that I know that I'm a good person. I know that I care. I truly, truly care about the people around me. I care about my wife and my kids and my friends. And I care about people flourishing. I want people to see success. And that's the reason why I'm talking about all this right now. I get so upset hearing how bogged down people are. And then I can see it right away. I recognize how they're feeling right away. You're feeling upset. You're feeling depressed. You're feeling sad. You're feeling vulnerable. But I've felt those feelings too. We have to allow ourselves to be people, but we also have to allow ourselves to be ourselves, not a cookie cutter version of ourselves. I truly believe there is every single one of us possesses a talent or a skill. And when you're really good at something, it makes you feel incredible. When someone tells you, like, wow, you make the best cake in the world, or hey, wow, this was the most beautiful, you just sang the most beautiful song I've ever heard, or wow, that was the funniest set I've ever listened to, or wow, that was the greatest drawing, or anything like that, that makes you feel so good. What makes you feel like shit is when people tell you that you suck, or that to stop, or anything. We shouldn't let people tell us how to grow or build or be better. But we do because we're so worried about what they're saying. We're so worried about failure. Failure. You can be the greatest ever at something, and you're still so worried about failure. And we may always be this way, but if we can stop and appreciate ourselves and love ourselves, who knows what the possibilities are? Like, they could be endless. I'm at 150 episodes of this fucking podcast. And there's sometimes I'm sitting here talking to myself like a damn fool, thinking to myself, wow, I just had a moment with myself. Even though I know some of you are listening and I appreciate you so much, but I look at myself too like, hey, follow the words that you're saying. And I remind myself of the words that I'm saying. I try. And it's hard. It's a hard process because failure fucking sucks. It sucks. But we can all be great. We can all be great. We all have it in us to be great or to live the life we want to live. We just have to be honest with ourselves and push. You know, you got to work hard. You can't just get away with something by not working hard. I've watched people walk up on stage and do stand-up and not prepare. And you can see it right away. And it makes you question, why was this person not prepared? Do they love this? And so you go back and forth, but then also if you think deeper, you think, well, maybe this person has a lot on their mind or a lot going on in their lives. And the reason why they're feeling this way isn't just because of them not wanting to do stand-up or not wanting to get laughs or do a good job. Maybe there's so much more underlying. I've always said this about a way that I truly try to live my life. If I run into a guy at the grocery store and I say, hey, sir, how you doing? And he goes, fuck you. I try not to get mad at that moment because maybe it's the 10-year anniversary since the day his wife passed away. Maybe there's so much on this guy's mind, and if I let that bring me down, then my day's ruined over something that didn't really matter to me, or I could go a different route and be like, "Are you okay, sir?" or anything like that, or just move on. You know, but maybe you can change someone's day. You can change someone's life. I've had my life changed by so many people. And lately, too, a lot. I've had my life changed by people just telling me something nice. Or just saying, hey, Shayne, I care about you. Or how you're feeling. And remember, just because somebody does that for you doesn't mean it stops there. Remember that feeling that those people gave you when they did that. And spread that love to another person. Don't stop it here. This is how we build kindness and love moving forward. We spread it. We build together. We're not just complacent. We're not just flatlined. We're still alive. We're still living. I don't know. That's all I got for now. This is Shot 30 Podcast. I am Shayne Neubert. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, Shot 30 Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, YouTube, all those things. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. They may like it.